Our games collection, like Horizon Forbidden West, features more open-world and stealth-orientated games where players will explore, loot, and grow across dozens of gameplay hours. Tomb Raider is an action-focused adventure that will have you playing Lara Croft as she attempts to survive the harsh wilderness she finds herself stranded in. Designed as a reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise, the 2013 edition brings newcomers to the world of Lara Croft while appealing to those who have played the original titles in the 1990s. Players join Lara as she becomes shipwrecked on Yamatai, a remote island near Japan. While the island is a fictional, your exposure to survival elements is anything but, with Tomb Raider designed to push Lara Croft and the player to their limits of the harsh and varied island environment. This all ties in with the overtones of mystery surrounding the island, which has been a magnet for shipwrecks over its known existence. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Offering a second game in the rebooted Tomb Raider franchise, Rise of the Tomb Raider continues to follow the story of Lara Croft and her Siberia-based adventures in the search for the city of Kitej, as she races against a military organization, Trinity, intent on beating her though and claiming the immortality it contains within. Similar to the past titles, you'll be controlling Lara from a third-person perspective as you rely on various improvised weapons and gadgets to propel yourself through the story. Crafting is a key and recurring theme from start to finish, with Lara being able to create new arrow types and other items by scavenging various materials from the plants and animals that appear in the harsh Siberia environment. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt takes an already impressive franchise and takes it to a whole new level of action role-playing as you explore the sprawling open landscapes, make decisions, engage in combat, and investigate countless side missions on horseback. The story elements are as strong as ever, and with the huge open world that is many times larger than the past games, it is only enhanced further. The grand scale even dwarfs similar games such as Skyrim, with the game boasting almost 20% more game content. For those unfamiliar, the adventures of Geralt, players will be taking control of a Witcher, a powerful and professional monster hunter for hire. Trained from birth and wandering the monster-infested landscape, you clean up the messes left behind for the right price. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild revives the Zelda franchise and establishes it on the next generation of Nintendo consoles. Playing once again as Link, who awakes from a long slumber, you'll step into an open game world of mystery and monsters. Breath of the Wild is one of the best that the current generation of video games has to offer, from the incredibly crafted world, impressive and fun game mechanics, puzzles, and everything in between. Taking place at the Kingdom of Hyrule, which is constantly under the recurring threat of Calamity Ganon, the world has advanced 10,000 years since the latest revival. During this period, though, the technology of old has also been lost, with the inhabitants regressing to a medieval state of development. Enslaved: Odyssey to the West is a reimagining of the original novel and takes the story out of China to a post-apocalyptic world 150 years in the future, with nature starting to retake the land that humans claimed for thousands of years. Now, with a much smaller population, humans only play a small part in the game world, given it is now dominated by the war machines of our past civilizations. Known as mechs, these robots still follow their original protocols, which now sees them aiming to eliminate all humans and accordingly avoid it at all costs. In this post-apocalyptic themed action adventure, you'll play as Monkey after he escapes from a prison ship with Trip through the escape pods just prior to a crash. After their escape, Trip places a slave headband onto Monkey while unconscious, which then forces players to protect her, as her death will result in your own. With Trip fixated on returning to her home village, which lies on the other side of the abandoned New York City, players embark on their adventure through the post-apocalyptic game world, helping Trip under the promise of removing the headband at completion. Far Cry Primal. Joining the other Far Cry titles but putting a prehistoric twist on it is Far Cry Primal, a title available across Windows, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. Intended to be a spiritual predecessor to the games in the Far Cry franchise, you'll step back in time to take on the role of a hunter in a large world from the past. This past era adopted by Far Cry is approximately 10,000 BC, at the start of the Mesolithic period, with players exploring a fictional location based within Europe. With a world filled with a large range of fauna and flora from the past, players will encounter wildlife such as mammoths, lions, rhinos, saber-toothed tiger, and more familiar animals like bears and deers. Skybreak pits players in a world where humanity is on the edge after being ravaged by a virus of world-ending proportions. Set on the planet known as Arcania, which was once a planet of human colonization, it holds the potential cure. Extracting the cure from the now abandoned planet of Arcania, though, is no easy adventure, and the one that players will be thrown into. The issue with exploring the lost planet of Arcania is that while it once sustained human life, it was long abandoned after the drones that assisted the colony turned on the humans. Now you must return with a group of researchers to save humanity, which is further complicated by the crash landing of your ship on arrival. With drones of all sorts hellbent on destroying the new human arrivals, your journey is going to rely on turning them back into useful tools. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor puts you in the middle of the Lord of the Rings universe, as you combat orcs with a deadly ranger that also possesses unique wraith abilities. With strong sword combat, stealth mechanics, a large open world, and a unique nemesis system, Shadow of Mordor offers a high-quality Lord of the Rings action-adventure with 30 to 40 hours of gameplay for completionists. In Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, players take control of Talion, a ranger captain in the city of Gondor, who is put in charge of watching the Black Gate. Unfortunately, an attack on your garrison leaves your family dead, and the player merged with the elf lord Celebrimbor, which grants access to a number of wraith abilities to aid you in your revenge against Mordor for the murder of your family. With Celebrimbor being deceived by Sauron to create the Rings of Power, he has his own story of discovery and revenge alongside your own. Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma combines a huge open fantasy world with good old hack-and-slash action to create an epic adventure that also incorporates some horror elements. Just like other action role-playing games, players can choose from a variety of classes which alter the skills and fighting style of your character dramatically. There are a total of 9 different vocations to choose from, while some of them follow common archetypes: warrior, mage, assassin. Dragon's Dogma adds its own uniqueness with a few interesting professions such as the strider and magic archer. Skyrim is the 5th game in the Elder Scrolls franchise and continues building on the success of the previous games with a large open world, sharp gameplay, and plenty of customization. The storyline of Skyrim has very few links to the previous games and mostly uses game references that won't take away from the experience if you haven't previously loaded up an Elder Scrolls game. This choice by the developer ensures that newcomers to the franchise don't feel left out and can experience what Skyrim has to offer on the same level as longtime fans. In Skyrim, you take on the role of the Dragonborn, who has the ability to absorb the souls of dead dragons. Using this power, you are tasked with protecting the world from a prophecy about Alden, a dragon. Primal Carnage is an online multiplayer shooter that focuses on PvP combat through savage class-orientated matches that has a team of dinosaurs facing off against a team of humans. Set on a remote island after a dinosaur outbreak, it is up to a team of mercenaries to find over the abandoned locations. This background helps set the game into a somewhat plausible setting but does not form a large part of the game. Instead, the game is very much gameplay focused, with players jumping into one of the 9 large open maps, which is then mixed in with 3 different game modes to offer a decent amount of variety. These maps range from overgrown research centers to abandoned docks, which does tip the favor between different classes, which encourages experimentation. Take down big enemies as a team in Lost Planet 2, a sequel to the exceedingly popular game about hunting unique monsters in addition to other human enemies. Like the original, large-scale bosses and varied options to deal with the monster threats is a focus for this addition to the Lost Planet franchise. Set 10 years after the original Lost Planet, you'll explore the storyline across 6 game episodes that each put you in control of a different person with their own motives and background, although ties their stories together in some ways. Consistent themes include being left behind, dramatic shifts in weather, government agencies, mercenaries, powerful weapons, and large corporations. Elex brings the popular action role-playing genre into a science fiction setting, opting for a touch of post-apocalyptic themes alongside a dark and complex world. Elex is a mixture of game elements into one. It comes from Piranha Bytes, who are well known for their Gothic franchise and the ability to create unique and hardcore RPG environments that will suck you in and not let go until hundreds of hours later. As longtime fans of Piranha Bytes, though, would well know it's not without the usual array of issues such as combat, which have to be overlooked in order to fully immerse yourself. Set on the planet of Magaland, which has been devastated by a comet impact, players find themselves amidst a fight for survival, as the survivors are now trapped in an endless struggle to control the fate of the planet. In addition to the deadly initial impact on the planet, a powerful resource known as Elex, which arrived with the meteor, has caused its own chaos. Before this collapse, Magaland was a planet with impressive technological advancements and well on its way to being a leader across the galaxy. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, watch our other videos, press like, turn on notifications, and you will always be aware of what to play today.